YouTube, Guilty Casual here, and I'm here with my friend Mandy to discuss the 60th episode from Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, and the name of the episode is No Cards, No Pardon, right?
No Cards, No Pardon.
So the episode was on the prison after Yugioh and his buddies got captured by the security, and they did things quite peculiarly, right?
Yeah, they did.
They used cards to bribe officers, and they basically used cards to get everything they got in the prison. That was kind of different from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, because in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds they got their decks taken away and they needed to contraband cards, and there was this old man that had this collection of antique cards, but in here they let them keep the deck, basically because it will signify their purchasing power, as if cards stood for money or for favors, services, or whatever.
Like currency.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that actually reminds me that it happens in real life. Just like in the episode, the prisoners bribe officers and the others with rare cards. But of course, in real life, prisoners bribe officers and other prisoners with cigarettes, money, cell phones, or other things. This episode actually reflects, well, kind of reflects what it could be living in prison. That kind of happens in real life.
Okay, so let's talk about this Cardian guy. He was using a very interesting deck, apparently based on a Japanese game, a Japanese card game. I forgot the name of the card game exactly.
Yeah, but it means flower cards.
Oh yeah.
In English.
Yeah, it basically, you put the cards on the table and you match what they call suits, I think.
Yep.
And the player which empties their hand first wins the game, and they add the points and stuff like that.
You know something that I found curious in the episode?
What?
There was a guard who wasn't doing his job. His job was to watch the security cameras, and he said he was playing a handheld game, and he was playing Yugioh 5D Willy Breakers from Wii. It was very interesting because he was actually playing a game from Wii in a handheld console.
I didn't know that that game was from Wii.
Yeah,
I could have sworn it was actually a handheld game. It looked like a handheld game when I saw it on the episode, right?
Yeah, but it's actually the game from Willy Breakers.
That's very interesting, and because he was playing that handheld game, he misheard what his fellow officer said to him. He instructed him to place Yugioh and his gang in separate cells, which are called shared cells because they are shared with other prisoners. However, he ended up placing them all in the same cell. That was pretty funny.
Looks like somebody gonna get fired.
Yeah, probably. So, apart from that, it seems that Yugioh is gonna face that big boss guy who has this nice stock of cards.
Yugioh is his name.
Oh, Yugioh. It was pretty interesting. It looks like among the cards that he has, I saw some Yang Sings, Plague Spreader, Yuki Usagi, which had its name changed to Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nice to see all these references to real cards that are used in the meta but haven't exactly been used in the anime.
Oh, and Yugioh bribed one officer with High Priest Feather Duster, and the officer said, "Oh my God, it's a rare card."
Yeah.
He bribed the officer with a High Priest Feather Duster. That was kind of interesting,
So,
I guess.
that's something I've always thought about the Yu-Gi-Oh anime ever since Kaiba started with the whole thing that only 4 blue eyes white dragons existed in the whole planet. I've always thought that cards are rarer than they are in real life, you know, which explains why you don't see an MST in every deck. You don't see, you know, you don't see mainstream. You don't see meta. You always see something different.
Yeah, many lane decks.
So right here I see Tokumatsu. Was that his last name or something?
Yeah, that was his last name.
Okay. So I was kind of confused about that. So let's talk
His
about
name
the
is-
cards he used, Mandy.
Well, like you said before, he was using an archetype called Cardian, based in a Japanese game that it literally means flower cards. I haven't found what the name of that card game is, but the objective, like Futika should say, is to pair suits. Something like the Old Maid, but instead from the hand, you must pair the cards in the table. Just something like the Old Maid.
Yeah, the cards seem to have something in common. You special summon them from the hand by tributing a Guardian monster which has the same level as the monster you have on the hand.
Exactly.
And then you draw a card, and if it's a Guardian monster, then that could be special summoned because you met its requirements. You special summon it. Otherwise, you throw in the card into the graveyard.
Yes, exactly. It is practically making reference to that game. But the other thing that I want to discuss is the synchro monster that he was using actually. Its effect was practically interesting. Its effect is when your opponent draws a card, he receives 1,500 life points of damage.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh. And for drawing a card, I mean.
So if you draw at least 2 cards in the same turn, you will receive 3,000 life points of damage. That was like, oh, I want that card.
If for some reason that card doesn't come into the TCG, well, comes into the OCG with different card text, you could potentially abuse cards that make your opponent draw, like hand destruction and disturbance strategy and a lot of
Dark Dealings.
yeah. There are a lot of cards that you could potentially use to burn your opponent to death, basically. And with 1,500 points of damage per draw, it could be pretty easy, I guess.
Indeed. Let's say that your opponent have 800 left. You don't need the Gaga Cowboy anymore. You just say it's your turn. Oh, you need draw a face? Okay, you lose. Just that simple.
Yeah. That seems to be pretty abusive. So what about cheaters? Are cheaters allowed in this game, Mandy?
No, no cheaters allowed in this game. And it seems that in prison either.
Yeah, I mean, there was this card that what was his name again?
No cheaters allowed.
No, the name the boss guy's name.
Oh, Chojiro.
Shujiro. He used a card called No Cheaters Allowed, and it basically means that whenever your opponent controls a special summon, a monster that was special summoned from the hand, you can return all monsters your opponent controls to the hand, and that has a lot of potential. However, you do need to control a Cardian monster, and if if you no longer control a Cardian monster, the card is destroyed. So I don't know if it will come as that, exactly like that to the OCG, but if it doesn't, it will be like another pesky
Floodgate.
Floodgate, yeah. Well, the cards that we all know and love.
Yeah. I think that some players were like, oh, not another Floodgate.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I first saw it, but then I researched the effect on Yu-Gi-Oh! Wikia, and apparently you have to control a Cardian.
No, you must control a Cardian. Cardian Synchro Monster.
Oh, a Cardian Synchro Monster
Yeah.
to top it off, you know.
Yeah, let me read the effect for you. If you control a Cardian Synchro Monster and your opponent controls a monster that was special summoned from the hand, you can return all monsters your opponent controls to the hand. If you do not control a Cardian Synchro Monster, destroy this card. So
I don't know what exactly is going to happen if Yugioh wins. I think that it's gonna make it a lot easier for them to eventually get out. But
maybe he will become the new boss.
yeah, but it doesn't really make much sense that they would spend much time in the prison. I mean, you say eventually got out. I mean, it's only obvious that you just eventually gonna get out because it has to happen for the story to move forward. I mean, but apart from that, there was something else interesting about what happened with Reira, and that is that what was what's her name? I mean, the one with the purple hair. I mean,
you mean the girl?
yeah, the one that looks like Yuzu. What's her name? I forgot. Serena.
Serena, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. She told Yuya that the ninja guy Hanzo, you know, took him because that's what she saw. She saw when Hanzo took Reira away, and furthermore, she said that apparently he should be with Reggie now. So remember when we were speculating in the other episode that he was sent by Reggie?
Of course.
So now it's not just us. Now she's thinking the same thing.
Exactly.
So that's kind of cool. We actually may be on the right track thinking about that.
But what still worries me is that apparently Reggie is not doing anything to help the rest of the gang of the Lancers. They're still in prison, and apparently Reggie is not doing anything at all.
Well, maybe Reggie will have something to do with getting them out if he has made some sort of connection while being in the synchro dimension. Maybe he can use his influence to maybe get the guys out. I know.
Maybe, but what I actually think is that he's letting this go on purpose, so he can test them how to manage problems. Maybe it's a test so he can think if they actually can't get out of this one, he could solve anything in a real duel.
Yeah, maybe he's testing them in a different way than just dueling.
Exactly, that's my viewpoint of this. It's kind of like, I don't know, I don't like the way he's thinking, but that's what I think that he's doing.
Well, at this point we're just speculating, so I guess for more, we'll have to stay tuned to the next episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, and we'll continue discussing it then. So, see you guys later.